Hello and welcome back to the Bundesliga Bounce Back. We are fresh off our Liga 3 win, trophies behind me still, and in this video we're going to do a bit of a summer rebuild and see what quality we can add to see if we can survive in the Bundesliga 2 after being away for 7 years in the wilderness. Well, as stated at the end of yesterday's video, if you haven't seen that, go back and watch that. We are going to switch to a 3-4-2-1 for the primary formation for the upcoming season. And in doing so, we need to add 3 players at a minimum. A starting right wing back, a sub left wing back, but I could easily drop Pedro Bondo down and then get a better left wing back in if one does come available to us. A starting striker or a substitute striker, as Picinovic kind of fell off towards the end of the season, even though he had a behemoth at the start of the season. He got 33 goals in the end, but he fell off quite dramatically. But I think we're quite well suited otherwise, and we're just going to try and get in quality where we need to. Bolin, for example, is just a good Liga 3 player, but he has potential to become a good Zweite Bundesliga player, apparently, and that's still 3 stars for both, so I'm not really sure about the quality difference between the leagues. We'll have to see on the season preview once it ticks over. But I'm going to send the scouts away and see what we can bring in. Stay tuned for more. And the awards come flooding in. The Liga 3 Player of the Year goes to Jamalier, second goes to Pedro Bondo, and Mengot, who's probably leaving this summer, gets third. So a clean sweep for us in the top 3. Picinovic gets top goal scorer award, but doesn't get Player of the Year with his 33 goals because of his poor performance towards the end of the season. So I'm going to congratulate him for that. I get Manager of the Year. And in the Team of the Year, we have pretty much clean sweep other than 2 positions. Our full defence, goalkeeper, most of the midfield, and Pecinovic up front. So that's quite nice. I believe I've failed to mention in videos, but Martin Horvath, who was at MSK Puchar with us, is coming in permanently because he was cheap as chips and he's just going to sit on the bench. I think he's like 3rd choice for this defensive midfield deep line playmaker role, because if Jamali is injured, Bolin can also drop back there. So we don't really need to expend too much wage budget, and he's going to come in for a snip at like less than £500 a week, something ridiculously low. And our first bid for one of our players has come in, and I'm going to immediately accept this one. Fredrikstad, who played Crystal Palace in the Conference League just a few weeks ago, have come in for a £115,000 bid, so that's going to immediately be accepted because I want to move him on. I asked his agent if there was anybody interested in him, and they said they'd have him. And he's 31 now and on the decline, so Twum has been a good player for us, but he's a decent Liga 3 player, so I don't think he'll be very useful for us in the league above. And Alesi can probably also move on. He can be the bench player if not, but I think we're going to need another ball-winning midfielder on the shopping list now. And Twum is gone for a lot of money. I'm very happy for the amount of money we got on him, but he was a great servant. He turned the club around when we were in the relegation zone. He's one of the first signings, if not the first signing when I came in. But he's going to move on now. I should also mention that we've had quite a significant wage budget increase as well. Went from about 100,000 to about 155,000. So a 50% increase, which is very nice. So we're looking on average for every player to be on £7,500, and now our top earners are on about £7,500. I think we're going to have a few increase in promotion wage rises. 50% for Pecinovic, which was a necessity at the time, believe me. So we have quite a lot of wiggle room in the wage budget, and there's not that many players that we need to sign either. With the remaining £48,000 of wage budget remaining, we only really need to sign 4 players. So we're probably going to try and increase the quality throughout the squad with that in mind. I think I found my reserve left wing back, Michael Elise's brother, Richard Elise. He's come through at the Chelsea Academy and he's been playing at Burton Albion. He does want a kind of a high contract at £6,000 per week. I'm not entirely convinced with him so far, but I like the fact that he can play centre-back and right wing-back as well. So he might be coming in, but we might find better options yet. I've just offered Pedro Bondo a new deal because teams are sniffing around him. He's on quite a significant wage increase, almost doubled it, but that'll put him above Michael Elise's brother if he does come in, and he would be starting ahead of him, I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to try and go through and offer a few contracts out to vital players that I want to keep around to avoid them getting moved on or getting unsettled. Another contract extension for Jamalier, another year tagged on, but it's more about making sure his head doesn't get turned. He's been on 4 to 6 and now £8,000 in this contract per week, but I think he's definitely worth it. We got the top 3 signings of the season for the league last season: Picinovic, Bondo and Schmidt as the top 3. I really think last season's window was a mega window, and a lot of the team that we've had for this season are going to be in the league next season. The board are just looking for us to avoid relegation with the season preview expectations, and they're asking me if I want to make a second club, and I don't think we do because the finances are looking a bit hairy still, and I feel like that'll be a bit of a drain on resources. So season previews are out and we're all the way down in 16th at 50 to 1, but I feel like with a few improvements we could easily get to mid-table at 20 to 1, and then maybe with that we can overperform slightly and try and get the relegation promotion playoff spot in 3rd, maybe. That's the dream, I think. I'm going to pull the trigger early on this Richard Elise deal just because of his versatility. So he's going to be our first signing of the season. Well, after all the promotion wage rises has gone through, we're left with £36,000 wage budget. And then after Elise comes in, that's 30. But then once Twom leaves, that's probably going to go back down to 35 or thereabouts. And then Schneider's on £5,000. So we're still working with about 40 grand still. And I've just made a mega deal for this, well, relatively to our club size, Dawood Savari. He's just been relegated with Ulm, and he's been playing in this division for a few years. An Iranian ball-winning midfielder who's come through in Germany. Look at that bravery and tackling. He looks just a ticket as the new ball-winning midfielder for another one to tick off the list. However, he's going to cost us 1.9 million to get him in, and there's a lot of teams in for him, so he might not come to us. But I really hope we do get him. We'll have to move around. Well, we do have a bit of transfer budget available to us, but we'll see if he does come in. Fingers crossed. I found a backup striker as well. Kelvin, a Brazilian striker. Don't know much about him yet, so I'm going to keep scouting him, but he looks pretty cheap. He's only going to cost us 24 grand, and he's going to come in at a £6,7500 a week wage. And for what my first scout report told me, he looks pretty good for the value. Anyway, we're going to delay for now and see if the second scout report is going to be any worse. Pedro Bondo has committed his future to Arminia Bielefeld. If we do get Savari, this guy will be a good budget right wing back to come in, and then we'll probably not really improve the area much, but it'll be good value. I'm going to give him a contract now, or offer him a contract now, and maybe he will come in. He's wanting just between 4 and 5 grand. After I've taken all the silly little clauses out, we've agreed a £4,800 per week deal for him. So Hoffman looks like a very good budget option for the right wing back slot that we need. So we have everybody slotted in now, so hopefully they just agree their deals. Well, Gruta Firth came in for Hoffman just now, but a few hours after they did come in for him, he's agreed to sign for us. So I think we're just going to get him in straight away and tick off that right wing back slot for now. It doesn't look like there's that much in the market quality wise for him. So I'm just quite happy to get him in now on a free. And Jamalier has committed his future to DSC Arminia Bielefeld as well. I still have an active promise on Schneider to sell him, but we haven't had any takers yet. The transfer window hasn't actually opened yet, so hopefully we'll get some of them flooding in soon. 3 new signings through the door then. Well, 2 really. Martin Horvath has come in permanently as a depth option in centre midfield and attacking midfield. Richard Elise, Michael Elise's brother, come in as a left wing back or right wing back cover. He's going to be... Oh. The report said he was very strong in his left foot, but he's actually very strong in his right foot. Maybe I just misread that. I don't know. That changes things quite a lot, actually. I'm going to have to check the footage. No, I'm just stupid. The scout report said he was right-footed, so I'm stupid. I don't need all these right wing backs then. So if we compare Elise and Hoffman, the 2 new right wing backs who've come in, I think Hoffman is quite clearly better, so Elise is going to be a depth option on that side still. And I think we're going to have to move on Rashidi, so hopefully Rashidi isn't going to be better than Hoffman. There's an argument to say that he is better, but I think Hoffman's better defensively, slightly. Rashidi just has him on the physicals, which is obviously quite important, but it's not the end of the world. It's not a massive, massive downgrade, if any. Elise offers far more versatility off the bench anyway. He can play centre-back and left wing-back as well. So I think I might have just preferred to have it this way around, even if it was on purpose. Nuremberg have poached our head performance analyst, which is the third time in 2 years that our head performance analyst has been poached. So we're going to have to put another job out for one of them. For some reason, they love taking our performance analysts in this league. And Savari is in. Just one last look at them before we accept, but I think it's just a 5 to 7 day injury. Quick look at his reports, nothing too worrying. I really think he's going to be a good sign. At 21 years old, he can only get better, and I really like his attributes. The new Iranian Joey Barton is in. I'm sure Joey Barton wouldn't be pleased to be hearing me say that. Alesi's not happy with Savari's arrival, not that he was a starter anyway, so I'm going to try and maybe move him on if I can. We have a lot of good players in on trial. This one I've got an offer in for Lewis Dongil in from Real Madrid's academy. No other offers in yet, so hopefully we can get him in as an attacking midfield option. And I've been trying to force Menga out the door, and I'm so glad I did, because we're getting £1.3 million offers from Hansa Rostock, so I'm going to snap the hands off for that. Savari was a record transfer fee apparently for the club, so that's another record that I can tick off. And Lewis Dongil is in. We're going to be a stepping stone for him apparently, but I'm very excited about this guy. What a signing this guy is going to be. Look at those attributes. The little Spanish man in from Real Madrid. How exciting is that? We've got so many attacking midfielding options that have come in on trial, and Hugo Bolin is kicking up a fuss because he's not happy Dongil's been brought in, but he's so much better than him, so maybe we're going to move on Bolin as well as Hetfer. Brought him for £120,000 last year, but he was a bit of a flop, and we might be selling him for double the profit that we brought him in for. Ostenbruck, our rivals, our local rivals, have come in with a just under £250,000 bid for him, so hopefully he goes. Looks like Boland's staying for now. The board have turned down the offers that we received for him because they weren't enough for what they value him at, which is maybe fair enough. Rashidi is out the door then, more because of my balls up rather than us wanting to move him on, but he wasn't amazing either. But he's gone. Sorry, William. I'm going to pull the trigger on Kelvin, the Brazilian striker, who can also play left wing, which is why we're bringing him in. We got a B for that signing, and I think he's just going to be nothing more than a depth option. He's a little guy who can run quick, so not bad. Got decent crossing, so he can play out on the wing. So if we do change to a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3, he can maybe slot in there. A good Bundesliga 2 player, apparently. These signings need to hurry up and get out the door because we need that money to make new signings, and we've got a whole load of attacking midfielders, this little quartet here, who look dead good. Hetfer didn't go to Ostenbruck in the end. He turned down that contract, which is annoying, but it is what it is. But the team's coming together. It's getting a bit hectic nowadays. It's more hectic than I thought it was going to be. Schneider's off them for £230,000. Thank you for your service, club captain, but it's no longer required. He's moving on to another team in the second division, I think. No, he's moving into the non-playable leagues, so a big step down for him. And the guy I was going to try and replace him with has gone to Ulm for about 3 times more than what we were offering him, so they're obviously using the money that they got off us for Savari to pay for that. Now we have a decision to make between this quartet of attacking midfielders. Let's compare them and do a little round robin to see who's better. So Quintero against Grunt, who I've just offered a contract to. Quintero looks a little bit better technically, and he edges him probably physically, but it's quite even, and leadership wise they are also much better. I think Quintero actually edges this, and he wants a little bit less money, but he doesn't speak the language, and he'll have to get used to playing in a new division, but he can play on the wing, so if we do revert to a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1, he can slot in there as well. Interesting. Let's go Egloff versus Bogusevic, another German with a funny name. Egloff versus Bogusevic. That's an interesting one. They're very different sort of players. I think I'm going to give it to Egloff, just even though the physicals, especially like for jumping reach and that, is better for Bogusevic, but I think I'm just going to give it to Egloff. He will edge it, and then Quintero smashes it out the park against Egloff. So it looks like Quintero is the one that we're going to go for, and he wants less money anyway. He's agreed a £7,500 a week deal, so hopefully we get him. We've got a deal for Grunt as well. He's probably second choice, but he wants 10 grand instead of 7.5 grand. So we'll keep them ticking over and see what comes back. And Mengot, who's been terrific for us, is leaving to another team in the same division for £1.3 million, which helps the finances dramatically. Thank you for your service, Mr. Mengot. Probably saying his name wrong this whole time. I really want this guy to be good. King Manu, please be good, please be good. He's probably not any good. That's a shame. Now, isn't this a turn up for something interesting? Puchov have come in for a loan offer for Horvath. That is too hard to turn down. I think I'm going to have to give them to him. And then find another defensive midfielder. You can have them, mate. My gift to you. Hugo Bolin has got his wish and leaving the club now after what was a bit of a turbulent time for him. He came in, he did okay, but he never really lit the world on fire. Mind you, he did quite well last season with 11 goals and 9 assists. He's off to Italy. Morten Horvath back off to my beloved MSK Puchov, but that leaves me with one more thing to do. Probably not the wisest thing to do in the world, but hopefully he does well back at my old club. Well, the deal for Jesper Grunt has been agreed by him and he's ready to come in. He's a player who's been playing in this league for the last few seasons quite comfortably, but I'm going to delay for now because I do think Quintero is a very slightly better player, but the team that Grunt left is coming for Quintero as they look for his replacement presumably, so we'll see if Quintero wants to come to us. We have our new left wing back reserve, Dalka, who was playing for Regensburg last season. He can play left back, left wing back, or centre mid, and hopefully centre defensive mid. Not that the scout report says that. Let's have a look. Barely, but he can also play left wing. But if you've just saw a little snippet there, Quintero's agreed to come to us, so we're going to accept that one, and we're going to turn down the other one for Grunt because we don't need two. We've got enough attacking midfielders at the club as is. And that's another 2 ticked off. Pelats is now upset that Quintero's come in. A lot of the dross that we have here, well, they're good players, but the players that we're bringing in are much better. But now we can get rid of all these attacking midfielders that we've got on the club on trial. So after all of that debacle, the front 11 look much better than they did at the start of the transfer window. We're still short of one centre-back cover and a defensive midfielder cover because I've let Horvath go, and maybe if we want to move Alesi on because he's unhappy, I might want to get 2. We'll see. And we don't have that much left in the wage budget to do so, but I think we can get that done, maybe slightly over, and I think that'll be one hell of a successful transfer window. I think Jamalier is the obvious choice as new club captain after Schneider's left, and I'm going to put in Davoud Savari, the new Iranian defensive midfielder, as vice captain, even though there's an argument to say Rosenfeld is probably a more apt one. I feel like he's going to become a real important player in the years to come. One of the covering players is in Lewis Spreckelmeyer, a fringe centre-back who was at Ingolstadt for the last few years. He was actually in this league and played pretty much every game, or at least the vast majority. Good old Henrik Koch has somehow wormed his way back into the team. I've been trying to get rid of him all summer. His attributes look fine, but he just never really performs that well. The academy graduates never got more than 5 goals in this season for us, but he's going to stay just outside the squad as a gap filler. And the final addition to the squad, Alfie Bendel, who's another fringe player who can play defensive midfield and attacking midfield, basically the Horvath replacement after he's gone to Puchov, because I can't say no to them. He's been at Forest Green for the last few years playing in the Football League, and he doesn't look completely dreadful. A good player for the league below, but he's fine to sit on the bench and come in if we have an injury crisis. A bit of a versatile player, can play in 4 of the positions we'll be playing in our new formation. Here we are then at the first day of the season. We've got a bit of a baptism of fire against Werder Bremen, who are predicted to go straight up after being relegated from the Bundesliga last season. They're predicted to finish top and they're odds on to do so. So we couldn't have asked for a harder game really. We've moved from 50-1 to 33-1 with the business we've done, but I really think we've had some real good additions. I'm really happy with Dongle, Quintero and Savari. Absolute fantastic additions, and the rest of the team were already pretty good. I wasn't expecting to make that much change to the team than we actually did, but I'm delighted with it in the end, with the squad that we have. Dalka's picked up a little knock, the reserve left back, so he's going to come out for the first day of the season. But that's the end of the video. If you've liked the video, please leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Watch a playlist or video on screen if you would like to. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye. Auf Wiedersehen.